For decades, the community thrived and opportunities arose from the work's success.
Everyone in the family was working somewhere within the steelworks. My dad worked at the gas cleaning plant. My father-in-law worked at the instrument department. My wife, Janice, she worked as a chemical analyst at the TRD. My younger brother, he also served his time as a fitter and turner at the steelworks. My mother-in-law even worked in the canteen serving food to the staff. My sister worked in the cost office.
My father worked at the Consett Company. My grandfather worked at the Consett. Both grandfathers worked there, and all my aunts and uncles worked there. So the whole family worked at the Consett Company.
Well, I think once you left school in the early 60s, there was only one or two options you had. It was either the steelworks, the hospital, there was Lanson Mars, the Bob Allen factory. But apart from that, there was only a few small industries. So almost everybody that I knew, either because people didn't go to universities in those days, you ended up going to steelworks. And you know, if you wanted an apprenticeship, you could be an electrician, a joiner, a plumber. We went down the technical, scientific route and became chemists or metallurgists. But up to the time of leaving school, I'd never been inside the steelworks. It was just one of those things. It was a steady, good job, and your parents, you know, encouraged you to go and work at the company.
When I was leaving school, most people thought they would probably end up at the company. And speaking for myself and probably many like me, I would suggest that our ambitions were never very high. Our parents never thought we would, you know, aspire to be much more than. In fact, the favourite phrase in our house was, you know, you want to get yourself an apprenticeship. That was the gold standard. And the real creme de la creme of the gold standard was, and if you can be a sparky, if you can, well, I didn't say a sparky because I didn't know that term, but if you can be an electrician, that would really cap it off. That was the top trade. And besides, you know, once we saw the size of them spanners the fitters were carrying, you wanted neat truck with that, you know. We had BA spanners, which were about year big and fit in a little wallet like that. Not So, yeah, that was the thing. In those days, you know, the school gates used to say open. You've heard the same thing for the shipyards and many other areas and the mines and whatnot, and you just flooded into the steelworks. Although at the time, and I'd played a lot of the nick from school. I was a bad lad in terms of attending school and whatnot. Even I, at that time, would go in for these apprenticeships, and I got about 4. I had the choice of 4 at the time, and chose the steelworks one, mainly because a lot of my mates were going and stuff like that, people from school and that was going. But I had about 4 apprenticeships to go, which was amazing when you think that I didn't leave school with many qualifications and you know, played the nick a lot and hadn't really been much into academia and whatnot. So that was a good choice for a kid who hadn't done a lot up to then. I mean, a kid nowadays would be, you know, they'd be lost like. But so that was one of the things. And a lot of the things I remember about them, you had tests. So you'd have these, you know, if you poured a bucket of water in here and it was going in. So, and that was sort of like general intelligence, and you had them. But also, I think my tests were always pulled up because I always had good general knowledge. And, you know, and there was a lot of stuff going on. And I always used to score highly on the test for general knowledge and all that, which probably fooled them into thinking I was a reasonably intelligent person. You know?
Served me time in Consett Works as a young lad. I soon learned. Worked my shifts until it hurt. My back's got the metal burns. Plenty of night shifts and day shifts, fighting against the clock. Now the works are in my dreams. Seems as if time has stopped. Working at the steelworks, our clarion call. Working at the steelworks, sing out one and all. Working at the steelworks, our clarion call. Working at the steelworks, sing out one and all. She's a lady crane driver up high in the fitting shop. Plenty of banter from the lads, the laughter never stopped. I'm your permanent light man, electricity's me game. With amps, fuses and switches, Sparky is me name. Working at the steelworks, our
it was very interesting. You know, you had to learn your trade, but there was always the daft pranks we used to do, and we were always up in the chip against each other. We used to go around to various departments. I was allocated to the Hounsgill plate mill for a short time, general fitting shops, TRD, and even did a spell in the drawn office, which was enlightening. Not my cup of tea, but I was pleased to get back onto the plant and working with the guys and enjoying yourself, learning. Very, very hard work, trying to manage, because you did have to do shifts when you were an apprentice, especially down the fitting shops. You worked 6 till 2, 2 till 10, and when you were 18, you were allowed to work night shift.
Yeah, when you were a trainee, there was that many people of your age that started. You were all of the same group, not just work. You played football together, you spent your social time together, and you made friends. You know, I made friends the first week I was there, and they're still friends today. And yeah, the comradeship was fantastic. You all started the same day, so you all stuck together and, you know, learned the ropes together. You went to college together on a night, so everybody stuck together. And you know, there was a lot of team building in the company through sports and working in different departments together. And because you moved around the departments, you met different groups of people. So you know, it was a really good training background. You got the academic training, you got the practical training. You had some real good people there who took you under the wings and showed you the ropes. There wasn't very much induction. I mean, it was hands-on from the first week when you went in the department. Probably not like today. You weren't mollycoddled into it. You were in it, and you know, that's how you made good friends, because you depended on them and they depended on you. When you work shifts, you were on a buddy system. You relied on your buddy coming in before you were allowed to go home. So you had to have good buddy systems. People had to rely on people, because if they didn't come in, you didn't go home. So yeah, it was a very good friend. Made some great friends, true friends. So yeah, great big family in the company.
We went to the apprentice training centre for 4 years there, which was called an indentured apprenticeship. I like the idea, that old phrase, like, you know, I've got a poem about it somewhere called serving your time. I really like that. It was a nice sort of terminology. You used to have to serve your time. And you used to have to do jobs, and they'd be measured on 3 criteria. One was quality, I think. One was dimensions, if you were making a piece of metal or something. And then there was the aesthetics, how much you had buffed it up and all of that. And I never liked doing the metalwork bits and that, and always succeeded getting out of it. But they had a big box locked with stuff in, and I used to take it out and then, you know, used to stamp over the top of somebody else's name and hand it in. I remember one in particular, like a lad from Stanley called John Brown, and he'd gotten 3/8, which was quite a good score, but it wasn't good enough to get you. There was a cabinet of the top jobs that you used to get stuff in, and John Brown got 3/8, and I said, John, give us, it was like just a square of metal that had a slotted bar that just fit in perfect. It had to slide in and out, a bit of mechanical engineering, which I would have been totally incapable of doing, I have to say. I wasn't very handy that way. And John gave us this thing, and I set away, put it on the surface grinder, buffed it up to within an inch of its life, put my name on, got 3 10s and got it. And John was absolutely mortified that I got this thing in this cabinet thing.